late now here as NC State going to the low post, and gosh.
C'est G. Williams, à nouveau, à 3 points, il est bien placé, c'est G. Williams qui remercie le ciel du Palais des Sports.
Johnson, now being the three for sure. Williams with the bingo! C.J. Williams.
I'm focused on the game, I'm focused on what I'm doing, and I can't really think about how, what's going to happen in the future. I just have to play.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Courtside Chronicles Cafe. I'm CJ Williams. Today I have a very special guest, a current teammate of mine, second year out from college, from the state of Delaware, Mr. Juwan Gray. Appreciate you coming out, man.
What's going on? Appreciate you having me, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's start out by discussing where you come from. Like, how did you start playing basketball? All that kind of stuff.
All right. So I'm from a very small state, which is Dover, Delaware. Well, the city, Dover, and I'm from the state of Delaware. But fun fact, Delaware is actually the very first state, if you did not know. So
that's crazy to me.
There's your lesson right there.
Yeah.
But so growing up, I'm actually a military brat. Both of my parents, they were in the Air Force, and I moved to Delaware when I was probably about like 3 years old, and it's been my home ever since. And growing up, living on the military base, I actually went to the Boys and Girls Club a lot.
Okay.
Where I would play a lot of sports, basketball, football. I'd play outside on the playground, just play tag. I'd do all that stuff.
Jailbreak.
Yeah. Do everything, man. So, like, just thinking back on that right now, it kind of makes me miss that time period, Because when you was a kid, you didn't have any worries. You didn't have to worry about
no bills,
no responsibilities. You could just have fun, man.
Yeah. These kids nowadays, they outside. They not outside.
They're not outside. They're not touching grass.
Nah. They ain't never had to rub the grass off your shoes or nothing.
Nothing. No scrapes on the elbows or the knees, man.
Yeah, man. That's crazy. So you said you were playing basketball at the Boys and Girls Club.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when did you actually realize, like, you're kind of good at this? Like, how old were you?
So, to be honest, like, I would say it was when I first started playing. Because I caught on pretty well. I have an older brother and an older sister.
Mm-hmm.
My sister is 7 years older than me. My brother is 5 years. So when they were starting off on their sports journey, I was always watching and trying to like imitate them.
Okay.
So I guess like once I actually started playing within like a recreational league, I was pretty good because I was always bigger than everybody and I was pretty athletic. So that helped me a lot with my development, just trying to keep up with them.
Okay, that's cool. So how was your like high school career? Like, how did you did you start out on varsity or what was the deal with that?
So my high school career, freshman year, I started out on the freshman team.
Okay.
No, it was JV. My bad. I was a late bloomer.
Okay.
And around that time, I was hitting like these growth spurts because it's crazy. Like when I was in 8th grade, I was 5'8".
Okay.
But when I jumped to my 9th grade year, I was like 6 foot.
Wow, 4 inches in one
4
summer?
inches in one summer. So, during that time, my knees were hurting, my back was hurting, I was
sleeping all the
time, bro. So I was still trying to fit into my body.
Mm-hmm.
So my first year of high school, I was on JV.
Okay.
And then sophomore year, that's when I actually made that move up to varsity.
Okay.
And like I said, my freshman year, I was 6 foot.
Mm-hmm.
And then from freshman year to sophomore year, I grew to like 6'6".
Yo, that's crazy.
Yes, bro.
I've never had a growth spurt like that.
Yo, it was crazy.
I was gradual, and now I have like 1 4-inch growth spurt, and then that was it.
Yeah, like it was a wild time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm still trying to figure out, my body and like how to move and everything. So I would say like junior year is when I started to become like more comfortable, with myself. And like at that time I was like 6'7", 6'8". Junior year is really where I started to like believe that I could play at the next level.
Okay.
Because I was, taller than everybody. I was pretty skilled and like I was playing in the AAU circuit and I would have like some pretty decent showings, throughout these tournaments. And I was getting like recruitment letters from mid-major colleges like Rider, Bucknell, Miami, Ohio. So I was like, yo, I can really take this basketball place pretty far. So
Yeah.
junior year is really where I started like to develop like that confidence and just have that hunger to make it to Division One.
Okay. So how'd you end up at San Diego? Like, what was the separation between the other schools that were recruiting you and why you ended up at San Diego?
All right. So after my senior year of high school, I didn't have any college offers. You know, like I said, I was a late bloomer.
Mm-hmm.
So I had an opportunity to go to a prep school. I went to Scotland Performance Institute in a small town in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
It was coached by Jareem Dowling. He was a mid-major coach at Southern Missouri at that time. Then he came to.
That's where I know him from. I knew the name.
He's at Kansas State now.
Yeah.
So he was really the one who really prepared me for college.
Okay.
You know, we had like a strict schedule. You know how it is in college. You have your early morning weights, and then you have to go to class, come back for, you know, individual workout, and then you have practice. So I really got that opportunity to experience, you know, the college grind, you know, a year prior to me going there.
Okay.
And then I remember there was this one game. I forgot who we were playing against exactly, but I just had like a crazy game.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I just had schools, you know, sending offers out of nowhere, bro.
Wow.
So my first one was actually Miami, Ohio. And then once I got that one, other schools started following suit, like Akron, San Diego, a few schools in Cali. But so California, well, San Diego came because, one, you know, I'm from a very small town, Dover, Delaware, on the East Coast. And then I got an offer to go to University of San Diego. I'm like, yo, let me see what it's like out there.
Right.
So I ended up taking the offer, and it was like a different world out there, bro.
Yeah.
It was sunny. The weather was amazing. Palm trees everywhere. I was close to the beach. I'm like, I think I'll like it out here.
Right.
So I ended up committing on the spot, and then, you know, the rest is history.
Yeah. And then you ended up at Towson.
Yeah.
How was it coming back home after that experience over on the West Coast and then coming back closer to home and everything?
Yeah. So it was an adjustment for sure, because I'm going from warm weather to now it's seasonal over there.
Yeah.
We have to deal with snow, like a real fall season, and I enjoyed it. You know, because I was close enough where if I needed to go home, then I can go, because I was only like an hour and 45 minutes away from my house.
Okay.
But I was far enough where I didn't feel like I was actually back at home.
Right.
You know, so that was pretty good for me.
Okay, cool. So then you go to Towson and everything, and then you finish your career and you decide you want to go overseas. Like, how was that first experience? And like, this is a two-part question.
Okay.
What was the hardest thing to adjust to originally when you got over to Europe?
All right. So after my career ended at Towson, first and foremost, like, I didn't have great numbers at all. Like, you know, my senior year, I probably averaged like 6 points and 3 rebounds in like 15 minutes, which I thought was not really great. But, you know, when you're, you know, my size, athletic kind of, and people watch how you play, you know, you can and see how you can impact a game. Like, offers come. And the first offer that I got was for a team in Sweden, the Chopin Stars.
Okay.
And, you know, like I said, I didn't really stat very well my senior year in college. So I just took the first offer that I got, you know, because I'm like, I don't know what else I may get. So I don't want to just take advantage of this opportunity.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I knew the NBA was out of the question at that time. So I was just like, I got to take something. And I would say the hardest part about adjusting to Europe for real would just be like the play style. And
it is different.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah. And like, I'm still kind of adjusting to that to this day, because, you know, I'm still like in that college mindset at times where I just have to, you know, play my role and just do everything the right way just to like stay in the game. But I feel like now, since I'm at like the professional level, you know, you got a little bit more responsibility and everything. So it's like you have to do what got you here at this point, and like you're here for a reason. So that's just something that it was kind of like difficult to grasp, but I'm kind of getting it now.
And that's the thing that people who haven't played professional sports don't understand, because your job is based upon your numbers, but then your job is also based upon winning.
Absolutely.
And so if you have the numbers and you're not winning, you get nothing. If you're winning and you don't have the numbers, you get nothing.
You get nothing.
So you have to find that like kind of healthy balance in between and stuff like that. And then, I in the earlier episode with Uzi, I was talking about how like the mental part of it can be the most challenging. When you're trying to figure out like, okay, you get frustrated, you may not play as many minutes as you want, or you get frustrated, you may not play the way that you want because of your teammates and stuff. So like it's difficult, but that's a part of being a pro, and that's kind of what they pay you for. And then especially being a foreigner, you kind of have more responsibility.
For sure.
They only pick you out of everybody, and it's maximum 6 spots on the team. And you got to think there's probably about at least 200, 300 people for that spot. So it's kind of it's kind of difficult, man. And that's a big part of being over here and everything.
So I actually have a question for you.
Okay.
So you're a veteran in this game. You've played at every level. Yeah. So my question for you is, what was the turning point in your professional career where you actually made that switch, like the mindset shift, like from college to the pros? Like,
okay. So for me, it actually happened very, very early on. It happened the summer after my senior year.
Okay.
Because I went and trained with this guy down in Georgia. His name is Mark Edwards. And he made me realize something, because I always dreamt of playing in the NBA.
Yeah.
So he made me realize something. He said, it's not the person with the most skill that gets to the NBA. It's the people who are the best athletes with skill. And that right there changed my mindset, because then it's like, okay, I have to show that I can be an athlete, and I have to show that I have the skill. And then when I got to Cyprus, and my agent, he's a former basketball player, Jamie Knox. What's up, Jamie? I know you watching. But my agent, Jamie, he kind of explained to me, because he's a veteran in the agent game, and he also played too. So he kind of made sure that I understood before I left that I got to get my numbers. No matter what, you have to get your numbers. Now, you get your numbers and win, it's a big plus. If you don't get your numbers, then that's going to cause issues and everything. So it was very early on that I discovered, like, you almost have to be selfish, especially when you come to Europe, because in college we learn the team game.
Absolutely.
In Europe, they learn it early too, but they also figure out how to carve out their own identity within the team. And so we don't necessarily learn that. We learn about the team, like, okay, run the offense, be here on defense, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when you get to Europe, you kind of have to figure out how to do both. And so like we learn the team game. So you have to be selfish a little bit to get what you want out of the game. And like I to be honest with you, I still have to remind myself of that to this day. Like, I'm 12 years in and I still have to remind myself. So it's definitely a difficult thing, but it can be done.
For sure.
It can be done. Yeah.
It's like there's a thin line between like being selfish and being for the team. Because like you have to be selfish in order to, get your numbers, to prepare for next year.
Yeah.
Because you never know where you can end up. But you also have to put yourself like within the team aspect too. So
but we also have a lot higher basketball IQ than most players. So us being selfish isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
Because we get the opportunity, we know how to mix that in with the team concept. So I mean, yeah, that's the best way I can explain it, and stuff like that. But it's definitely, that's the part of the game of professional basketball, especially in Europe, that is hard. Because in the NBA, it's easy. Like everybody kind of just doing their own thing and they figure it out.
Yeah.
But we have to try to do it where these other teams appreciate us,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a little difficult. But actually, going along with that, so this is your second season out.
Yeah.
What would you say you've learned about yourself, and what's something that you learned this season, like that you didn't know before?
What's something that I learned about myself this season?
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I learned about myself in my second year playing pro basketball is that, like, you have to always have confidence, no matter if you have a great game, no matter if you have a bad game, because, you know, it's going to happen. Like in your sport, you're never going to have a consistent game. Well, you're never going to have consistent games where you play amazing. There's always going to be a few bad games in there. And I feel like just playing through mistakes, not worrying about the outcome, and just going out there just to have fun ultimately, and also do what you know you can do. That's gonna, I would say, build confidence. Just having that underlying worry that, you know, everything's gonna be okay.
Yep. Yeah.
And, you know, you're my teammate. You've seen, like, you know, the good days and the bad days. Everybody has them, and how, like, my confidence can waver at times. So I actually just, you know, thank you for also just talking to me as like an OG or an vet, and just kind of like whenever you see me getting to that point where it's like, all right, Juan's about to have an episode. You know, you just kind of talk me and bring me back down to the ledge, man. And I do appreciate you for that.
Yeah, no problem, man, for sure. You know, I had some great veterans throughout my career and stuff like that, and they just kind of made me realize, like, that's the point of being a veteran, is to help the game progress. Like, if you leave the game better than you like got into it, then you did your job as a professional basketball player.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I told you before in one of our private conversations, like, if I help you become a better basketball player this season, then I'm happy with myself. Like, I'm happy with what I was able to do, because I had so many veterans that did the same for me and everything like that. And the confidence thing, it does not change as you get older. Like, I go through it sometimes, like getting frustrated, and I get more mad because I'm like, I know what I can do. Why am I not doing it?
Exactly.
And then, like, you know, so, but it doesn't change. But at the same time, we just always have to try to remember, like, the game is the game. Like, there's, you know, there's ups and downs, ebbs and flows and everything. So, like, you just gotta have to keep rolling with the punches, keep grinding, keep working hard every day. And then if you put the work in, trust the work.
For sure.
That's it, trust the work. Yeah, so.
You got another question too.
Yeah, like, what's something you learned this season? I feel like I know what you're going to say. What's something you learned this season that you didn't know before?
If it makes sense, it does not make sense.
The definition of European basketball, man.
Don't let that go over your head, man.
Man.
He told me from day one, he was like, yo, I've been around a lot of different atmospheres, and I can tell you one thing. If something makes sense out here in Europe, it does not make sense.
It does not. It does not.
And I'm going to just leave it at that.
Yeah, like, we're going to leave it at that. We're not going to be further than that, but that is definitely the truth. Gosh, oh man.
What'd you say it was called? The Matrix?
The Matrix, man. My boy Jay called it the Matrix. Man, gosh. Oh man, there's so many stories behind these laughs right now. Some I'm laughing out of frustration. Oh man. Yeah, but okay, so like, playing overseas, like, okay, we got into it a little bit, but like, what's something that you feel you need to gain, like, from now on in your career? Like, just at least on the court, like something on the court that you need to gain in order to have more success, in your opinion?
I would say everything starts with confidence, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because if you feel like you can do something, even if, like, you haven't practiced it, like, everything will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have the confidence, you know, the unwavering confidence, nobody can take that away from you. So I feel like that's something that I have to definitely improve on if I want to continue playing at a high level,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Okay. Yeah, I know. One thing that I learned, I think this was my year with the Clippers, and Lance Stevenson was playing for the Pacers at the time, I believe. And someone asked, like, a friend of Lance, like, why is he so good? Because that was the year he was like almost an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 2 words that he said, and it made me be like, wow, like, that's the key to basketball. And he called it irrational confidence. It's confidence beyond what you can actually do, but having the confidence to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I was like, what? And it's like, yeah, like maybe you're not the best shooter, but if you got confidence that every shot you take is going in, it's going to pan out perfectly.
Right.
And I'm like, wow. Like, and so like I've carried that since that year. Like, it's like, okay, maybe I don't have success doing something. All right, let me go to practice. Let me work on it. And then the next time I do it, I'm gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just constantly being like, everybody's heard the Kobe quote. If I miss my 8th, I'm gonna make my 9th. If I miss my 9th, I'm gonna make my 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the same thing. And I guess you call it the Mamba mentality or whatever. But
Yeah.
that's kind of like one thing that I learned through my career that was like about the confidence thing. And I hate to use a weird word, but it's uber important. Like, it's so important to have confidence, because if you don't, like, you kind of put yourself into a shell, and then you're not going to play well, and now you're mad at yourself.
Right.
So like it's a trickle down effect in a way. So yeah, I definitely understand. And I actually, I agree with you. We've talked about it.
You're
I
right.
agree with you that if you develop that confidence to just keep going and don't get frustrated with yourself or with the team or anything like that, like you can make it very far and make a lot of money playing this game.
For the young people who are watching, mistakes are gonna happen. No game is perfect. Even the best players in the NBA to make mistakes. They turn the ball over. They miss shots that they know they can make. You're the one that told me Steph Curry is the greatest shooter in the history of the NBA, and he shoots 40% from the three-point line.
Mm-hmm.
So he misses more shots than he actually makes.
And we don't even think about it.
We don't think about it. And that's the greatest shooter in the world.
Yeah.
So when you think about it like that, you have to be okay with, making mistakes, because I know I'm not a better shooter than Steph Curry, so why am I upset when I miss a three-point shot?
Yeah.
So.
And then even when you think about it, there's so many possessions in the game. The average NBA game, each team gets around 100 possessions right now. But they're only scoring 100 points, 115, 120 points on a good day.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely, half of those possessions are bad possessions or missed shots or something like that.
Yeah.
So like, if we understand that about the game, then we'll be better off, because we're going to then not get frustrated with ourselves. And then it trickles down to defense. Then we give up a layup. Now we're mad. And it just keeps going and going. And it's a snowball effect. So, yeah, we just have to keep remembering that, man. Trust me, I'm speaking to myself when I say this too. But to get a little bit away from basketball for a second, you started creating content both on YouTube, right?
Yep.
Mostly on YouTube?
Mostly on YouTube.
Yeah. So like, what made you start doing that? And then the second part of that question is, what's the most difficult thing about being a content creator?
So it was after my senior year of college, where I was kind of like just playing with the idea of creating content and just documenting my journey throughout Europe. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start, because I don't want to keep thinking about, when I'm going to start. I was just like, I'm going to start today. And I started my very first video with me signing like my very first professional contract. And I actually created my YouTube channel just to have like a digital diary of visuals for when I'm finished with my playing career. And also I just wanted to show like, a lot of the people back home that the world is extremely huge. Like, it's more than just the small city that you live in or the small state that you live in. And just to gain like a different perspective, like on life, like I just want people to see like how beautiful the world is, and not to just be limited to such like a small town mentality.
Right.
So that was the first thing. And like, I would say the most difficult part with creating content would be the consistency.
Yeah.
Because I do everything by myself. Like, I record all of my footage, I edit the footage, I have to schedule out when I want to plan to, release my content on different platforms like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and all of that can be pretty overwhelming, especially when we have our full-time job of being professional basketball players. So that's the most difficult part, is like just staying consistent with it.
Yeah, I know. If it wasn't for my girlfriend, I would not be doing any kind of content. You know what I'm saying? I can't do it. I don't know why. If somebody else edited, I'll create it, but if somebody got to edit it, I ain't doing it.
Yeah, for real.
So that's more power to you, brother. I don't know how you do it.
That editing process can take a long time, man.
See, I ain't got time for that. I'm trying to play some video games.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to basketball. Like, what's a country, whether it's based upon the living there, or like you want to see how they live there, or like the basketball that you see from that country, what's a country that you would like to play in?
So we've actually spoke about this, and a country I would love to play in would be Italy.
Yeah.
They have very high leagues in like basketball, and also too, like, Italian food is my favorite type of food. I love Italian food. So if I live in Italy and I'm able to eat that food on the daily, no matter how good or bad my day is, like, I'll be content with that.
That pasta gonna be hitting.
That's gonna be hitting, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, man. Definitely. I love Italy, man.
Mm-hmm.
I played that one season in Italy, and my family came out and they were like, we could live here. If we weren't living in the US, we could live here. So, man, it's a beautiful country. Beautiful country, for sure.
I'm just looking forward to just traveling the world in general, because I've only been to 3 different countries, so Sweden, Norway, and Romania. So there's a lot more out there.
Yeah, you got to get to Western Europe now.
Yeah,
you got to go to Western Europe for sure. But so outside of basketball, what's some of the things you like to do, like some hobbies that you like to do?
So, back to creating content, I would say like that's one of the hobbies that kind of takes my mind away from basketball. And also, I started to, do puzzles, like 1,000-piece puzzles, 2,000-piece puzzles, and I can do that for.
I had patience for that, but go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you.
No, you're good. You're good. Like, I feel like doing puzzles takes a lot of time away from just like me using technology, and takes my mind off of basketball, because I can really just focus on something else, and it kind of like gives me peace of mind.
Right. Yeah. So, are you the person that starts from the outside and?
Yeah, I gotta start from the outside.
Okay.
Gotta start from the outside and work my way in.
Yeah, I know some people that start inside out, and I'm like, that don't even make sense.
It don't make sense.
if it makes sense,
it don't make sense.
Oh man, that's crazy. And so I guess we'll get to the last question. Is like, what are your future plans? Like, what are your plans for your career? Like, how long do you expect to play?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that.
So I want to be able to reach 10 years in.
Okay.
So I'm in year 2 right now. So by the time I'm 10 years in, I'll be about 35, 36.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how long I want to play. And also, I just want to see how far I can take basketball, because all my life, like, my family and close ones been telling me, like, yo, you can do something special with this. And like, within these last few years, I've actually been starting to, really truly believe that. And that's a goal that I have, is like, I want to be able to travel the world, while I'm still young, and also get to the highest level possible that I know I can get to.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a good plan, man. If there's, like you said, you want to play in Italy, but if there's any other places that you want to play, I say write it down. Write it down. And one thing that I got away from that I think I need to get back to is writing down my goals and putting them someplace where I'm going to see them every day.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, when I was in high school, I always wanted to play college basketball. So as an 8th grader, I learned this concept, and I typed it out, and then I put it on my mirror in the bathroom. So every morning I would wake up, I would brush my teeth, and I'd be looking, and I'd see the paper. It's just a reminder of what your goal is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing for anybody out there listening. Like, if you got a goal, man, write it down and then put it someplace that you can see it. So it's just a gentle reminder every day of what you're working for. It gives you a purpose. And, when you have purpose, you can do anything because
For
you're gonna figure out a way to do it regardless of what the circumstance may look like, stuff like that. But yeah, man. Again, appreciate you coming out. Go ahead, tell them your YouTube channel, man.
All right, yeah. So my shameless plug, The Real Juwan on all social media platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. So if you enjoyed the conversation today, give me a follow.
Y'all better follow. That's all I'm saying. Y'all better follow.
I'm showing y'all the world, man. So interact with the content, and I'll reach back out to y'all if y'all do.
Yep, man. Again, appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate it, dog.
Appreciate you. It's a little cold out here, but we made it happen for y'all, man. We made it happen for y'all, man. Again, that was Courtside Chronicles Cafe. Appreciate y'all tuning in.